Hi everyone, so today we are doing the Nancy Guthrie case. Honestly, if it wasn't for me, then this would not be done. But when I say I do something, I either need to go back and say, no, it's doing my head in to do it, or do it. But let's see what the cards say. Here is the cards. I've done a couple of readings without cards, just psychic downloads. One thing that I was thinking of 2 days ago actually, and I have been busy, that's why I've not recorded this yesterday, but you should see it on the 19th, 20th, I don't know what date I am, is Michael Monkey Vaughan. Shouldn't his trial be coming up this year for the guys that they have wanted to hold accountable? So with Nancy, one question we had, and I'm going to look at it now, is how comes the news reporter direct relative has not offered a reward amount for her missing mother, and nor her husband, and they have millions to their name. It's actually the FBI or the state, and it was a silly amount, wasn't it, at the beginning? It was like, what was it, 2,500, and then after 6 days it was like 50,000, and I think now it must be like 150 or maybe even 200. I don't know what's happening in the case. I've been kind of out of the blue, busy, and also a lot going on. So let's see what the cards have to say. At the moment, I've only got this deck with me, but I will be getting my other decks. If you want to donate to the channel, you can do via the PayPal. I plan to get a more of a investigation deck, but then with that we need to take it lightheartedly, you know, because a lot of it is conspiracy, but I feel like a lot of you like the entertainment. So I believe family members know, and I believe a lot of this is being delayed, as delay tactics to hide stuff. And I've said from the beginning, it might seem like everyone's working together for one strategy. Everyone's on a different timeline of their own kind of strategy, if that makes sense. So there's a distraction happening with certain people wanting it to be delayed, and the family that know, and just all silly things that are coming up, like the glove, who would mask themselves, and then there's this glove that's just, they say near Nancy's home, but was it like a motorway where someone could have been working, left their glove, dropped their glove? You know, it could have been anything. A lot of people might use those type of gloves. Anyway, top row is confirming everything I've said in my videos and comments, and the bottom row means we need to investigate further. Oh my god, a proliferate of cards come out. I just wanted 3 cards. Oh no, it is 3 cards, okay. The Temperance, you know, I saw it upright as it fell, but it fell down as in reverse. Interesting positionings. Okay, there is definitely, we've got major arcanas here, right? There's definitely a 2 layer to this. They do know, okay, they do know, but there's some things that they don't quite know, All right, so where I've said they do know, and there's a lot of things, there's some things that they don't quite know. But when I interpret the bottom, let's start with the bottom, that they have no clue and they're just, you know, I don't want to say victims, but they've got no clue. And then I'm going to go on to, so why haven't they offered something? They're heartbroken. But here, when I look at the moon in reverse, it says something that's hidden is actually known. Okay. And I think in one of my readings, I got the Five of Swords and I couldn't get it out of my head, and I can't remember what it was. It was the ego entitlement. I'm sure it was Nancy Guthrie. I think this bottom row is saying what is supposed to be hidden is actually in plain sight, the people. And although the family is heartbroken, they probably know who it is. Going back, because this is the card that came up. Going to the first thing is, yes, there's a strategy, a slow, delayed strategy in place, confirmation. We got our major arcana, okay? It was upright when I saw it. I'm taking it in a challenge position where there's, because I see the Knight of Wands as well, there's a slow pace, patience, and there's a fast pace energy, which is telling me of the different timelines that I was seeing in the reading. So that confirms what I've been mentioning. So why, Spirit, have they not offered? So why they've not offered here is the top line. They know who it is. Okay, they know that there's a thing being planned out. There's a delay, there's a fast pace. They know who it is. But let's go ahead with the cards. If I'm making any sense, very difficult sometimes when you see something and you know something, to interpret it and deliver it on how you're actually seeing it and channeling coming through. So the reason is the same as what I put in the comments in the videos, but let's go further. So tell us a bit more, Spirit. Why is S and her husband not offered money? The clarity of the truth. Knight of Wands. So they know the fast energy in this. They know the abductor, the abduction, the devil. Okay. To me, this says they know the person. Okay. And there's an element of not wanting, of greed and not wanting to deliver by way of being bound to giving money. And that justice, if you go back to my first reading, I said, I wonder if there's a play here because there'll be a government payout or some form of compensation. And I don't know if you got it, and some of you might have got it, and some of you might have thought like insurance or just gone over it. I tend to deliver stuff without trying to point fingers. So here, this has come back to me, and it's saying, it's kind of saying that the justice system needs to prevail, I'm getting that word, and solve this. This is not a good energy. Why wouldn't you pay? This is the abduction. This is, I'm not going to be held by the abductor, you know, to pay a ransom for something. I'm going to allow justice, the government, to do it. And I do think that there's going to be a payout for them on this, and I think it's all part of the previous thing. Justice, the card of justice, the Queen of Wands, and the Five of Cups, the loss. Three cards. I need a major arcana. There's the major arcana. Queen of Wands is the reporter daughter, and the loss. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Some of the other things that I was getting in between as I was thinking of doing this, you know, there's, I think the number 11 is important. I don't know if it was 93 or 89. 1 second. '83 and 19. 11, 83 and 19 are important numbers. I want to ask, by the way, I feel like TMZ are loving this. I don't know if they've had another ransom note or if there's any breakthroughs. Are they still at the relative's home, or have they, because they've been back and forth, haven't they? What I want to do is ask, has all the family, or the letters K and C are very important as well. When I was thinking earlier, I'm going to say K or C. Chris came up instead of C, but it's C or K. Could be letters that we're going to see in this. I don't think that there's 2 males and there's a female, and there's going to be up to about 5 people with a conspiracy. Got some questions to confirm some of the feelings that I've got. But firstly, is this a relative, someone that knows her? Is it? And then I'll go on to the next question. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. 8 of Cups. I've had more cards come out. I'll just see. 8 of Wands. So something about this is telling me, okay, Lovers on the bottom. King of Wands in reverse. We got the King of Wands in the first read where I did the cards, and this was the person. Something's not working in that person's favor. Yes, I know the answer is not exactly what I'm going to get to that, but I have to channel what Spirit's giving me. So why do I sound like I'm arguing with myself? But I feel like someone's saying, well, that's not the answer to the question. Is the relative something she knows? I got my confirmation, but it's in reverse. So what I want, and then there's that confirmation. What I want to do is it's someone she knows, or it's someone she knows. Is it a relative? It's someone who is known, but in a different sense to her, in a different way, in a different light, and this is telling me that there's a negative way of them, a negative side to them. Now, you'll know what I've said, I believe, some of the reasons of this whole thing, or the energy around it. 8 of Cups, these two is just like side notes, but this is very much confirming. If I got these cards, there'd be no absolute question. But what I want to ask, which was the addition to this, was, did a relative or someone she knows hire these people or friends with these people? This includes, Nancy had people that were staff in the home to do stuff, and they were hired by Nancy, but it could have been because they were a friend of a relative or someone they know. It could include that the relative hired these people and they know them. Okay, so it's those two elements only. It's not a stranger hired. I'm going to go to stranger hired in the second row. I hope that makes sense. So it's someone who worked in her home. She knows the person. Either she hired them because they're a friend of a relative, or the relative hired them to work in Nancy's home, and that's how she knows them. Okay, so that's what we're getting. How do I sit with that question, Spirit? 10 of Wands. Okay, so there is something that's very hidden about that. Okay, that's not out in the open. That is a heavy element and hidden. 10 of Wands. And 4 of Cups here. I'm told to look at the numbers. Give me a minute, please. $50, 14, 1 plus 4 is 5, and then the moon is 18, so 6 plus 8 is 14, 5. Okay, so there is yeah, 5 is an energy of change between the old going into the new, but it's also a challenging energy. It's giving me that energy of the word corruption is coming to me, but that's not the case. I don't know why I get someone who lingered in the dark. Okay, is this a total stranger? No one really knows. Not hired. Hermit. 6 of Wands. 7 of Wands. It's someone that would be recognizable. Okay. 7 of Wands in reverse is telling me it's not someone that, hang on a sec. I wanted to say what I was coming through with that 4 of Pentacles, because it's giving me the answer. What I'm getting here from Spirit is that I think some of them are not recognizable to Nancy. Okay. And this person would have felt, I was going to get to this question, there's a person involved in this that really feels very perplexed, embarrassed, and high anxiety to be recognized. And I feel like it's one of the people that was there in the dark. Okay, because I feel there was 2, especially on that evening, that did that. There might have been one with the female in the car, and we got that Lover's card, right? Here with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, I'm trying to think what I was getting coming through to me. So here I said, like, is it known to the relative or they hired them? So we've got, what's hidden is whoever was doing, someone might have been doing heavy work there. Because with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, it's telling me that there was a delay. There was an opposition, which is that 5 energy I was trying to say. The opposition, the suspension. I wonder if she suspended or cancelled even someone doing some heavy work, new renovation or something in the home. That is not something that everyone knows. And that's caused a suspension and opposition energy. And a delay for that person. And I think that I've got that right. Okay, so all right, so here I want cups. Cups, 2 of cups, heartbreak, temperance in reverse. This takes me back to the temperance in reverse and do the family know, and we've got it here. We've got the 2 of cups, the heartbreak. This represents what I mentioned. I asked for cups to confirm. So does she know the person? She does definitely know the person. I think she at least knows one direct person and one co-conspirator in this, okay? If not 2 involved in this. Okay, so I hope that's answered some stuff for you. Okay, I don't want to accuse anyone of who I see is involved. One of the men, by the way, is a very heavy drinker, and there could be drugs as well. And I do think there is a foreign element to this as well. So it's not only completely white. They could be like American citizens or whatever, but yeah. Have the family really been cleared? Please, Spirit, show us the cards we need to know. First one out is 5 of Cups. This tells me no, by the way. Queen of Swords. King of Pentacles. Okay. So this Knight of Wands we've had in the energy prior, and I can't remember what question I was asking. Oh, it was confirming. Do the family, do the reported daughter and husband know who it is? And we have this. We had it in reverse. It's the same person. It's the same energy. Here I get were the family cleared. 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups in reverse. To me, this is telling me no, okay? And it's telling me that there's a strategy in place. But that strategy is actually not been the best thing to be announced. That's what I get with the King of Pentacles in reverse. That's the energy I'm getting off these cards. Could it be that the state versus the FBI are on different parallels? Like one is announced and the other hasn't said anything. Because this is telling me like it's to create news and alliances, okay? But it's also a false projection to return. And this is the announcement that this King of Pentacles in reverse tells me is either going to give a loss of face of somebody on the strategy of announcing that shortly, or it's just not, it wasn't the best thing to say. And I think it's a loss of face of announcing that, and we will know why, I guess. Now, if we look at that Knight of Wands in reverse. And I really feel like that's the energy of a person, okay? It's a person who can be quite immature, and yet they're in not their normal energy of being quite, you know, fast paced going through. I feel like they're in a ruptured kind of discord, interrupted energy. This is telling me that it's really it's trying to interrupt something from the way it's going. It's trying to stop that projection on the family, but it's giving a loss of face to whoever announced it. Okay, let's go on to the next one I prepared. I wanted to ask, is any of the ransom, and I haven't kept up, is any of the ransom letters or demands been real or not? I was told to look at the bottom of the deck, the High Priestess. So a woman could sit behind these ransoms. Do you know what I just got with that? The Torah. Is the Torah, it's a religious book. Where's the Torah from? One second, let me see. Don't even know how to spell it properly. Let's try. Probably going to come up as tarot or something. I've got a professor who talks about I think have I got it in a different language? Wait, the Torah. Anyway, okay. Whatever country that comes from, that could be significant. There's something that wants to come through with that, but until I get my answer, I don't know how to say this. What was I going to ask now? So the High Priestess. So I'm going back to my question. Was any of these... We get a yes with that High Priestess, but let's continue. Was any of the ransom notes or anything sent to TMZ actually from these people? Please show me clearly, Spirit. Yes. 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 That's giving me Nancy energy. 7 of Cups. We get yes. So here we need to cover the boobies. Okay. Yes, and it was actually to cause a shake-up. All right. It was actually to cause a shake-up. And it seems like it actually caused fog and confusion. And when that happened, again, they sent another ransom note, okay? But one was a communication. The other one was actually, you know, they want something out of it, basically. They want more of it out of it. They changed their tone. What was this? Oh, this is to cover it. There was no masking mirrors of one of the ransoms in the least, even though people think it's, you know, it was said that it's a load of bogus. It says that here it tells me that there was a will and a determination in terms of one of the ransom notes, okay? one of them really caused a shocking shake-up, okay? I feel like this could be the daughter, all right, about her mother. But the other one, there's one that's definitely, there was a desire, a determination for an outcome, okay? So, and the tower's not reversed. So I think one of these, and I don't think, I'm getting this, I don't think they've told us about every single ransom or communication that's come through. Now, you know, maybe TMZ have been told, you know, a pat on their hand after the first or something, you know, tell us before you announce it. You're getting it so you can announce it, but tell us before. But in the beginning, maybe there wasn't that energy. So that's what I get there. There's a good potential that one of the ransoms or demands was actually from these people. One, to cause a diversion or a shake-up, which was more or less communication. But then there was one with a desired outcome and willingness to take do an action, okay? Show me the energy of the perhaps. We're going to get various energies here, so I'm going to take two lines. So to me, this looks like they're watching this very closely. They're holding on to their positions. There is a female that is not in the best position in terms of her energy, the way she's feeling. There's this King of Swords that tells me it could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Tells me they are, you know, this makes me feel like more or less the leader. Now, it's not the King of Pentacles in reverse. The Ace of Swords is here. Okay, and I feel, okay, so let's clarify the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I think this, one of the people wishes to walk away. All right, and that's what I was getting. I feel like one of the people basically was like, F, we messed up. It wasn't as easy as we planned. I want to distance myself, and that's the energy I get here. Show me the King of Swords. Clarify the King of Swords. I was going to say this. There's a potential of someone walking away again from this group, but I won't be surprised if someone attempts to off themselves as it gets closer in. There is an energy of someone who's not working as part of the team. They're all in different energies. Let's get another team member. Current energy. Remember, this energy can change. Someone feels, one of them feels very much exposed. It's end of an era for them. It's end of a chapter. And they are really juggling a few things. This could be to do with what the hell do they do right now? What the hell do they do? It could be with their anxiety, okay? They can't sleep. Do they run away? Do they off themselves? Do they go buy a Snickers bar? Yeah, there's a lot of very vulnerable. When I say vulnerable, please understand the energy here in this team. Leo energy is present, okay? That does not surprise me. Very regal energy. I wonder if the energy of Leo is maybe a position in the astrology when these things happened. It could have been opposition to Aquarius. Okay, I don't know how long I've been talking here. Can we see, has there any evidence been compromised? Do you know what I want to say? Everyone's talking about Prince Andrew getting arrested. And that's a big thing, right? It's not only a president we're talking about an ex-royal. But isn't it shambles that the UK is the only one that's actually taking action, even taking action against a prince, a former prince? At the end of the day, his blood is prince. You know, and everyone says about they love the Queen. Yeah, but she hid this, didn't she? And Charles dealing with this. And I'm telling you from now, it's going to take a bad hit on his health. And Andrew, I've mentioned Andrew before, but I will go into that. I've mentioned that I think he might end up trying to take his life, but I do think he's going to leave the UK. There's a bit of smoke and mirrors around that, but I just was thinking it's, you know, we've got Peter Mandelson under investigation. Andrew, we're the only country that's actually doing something. Where's the rest of the countries bringing their presidents, their royalties, their elites to justice? You know, it's ridiculous. And of course, because he is, everyone's covering it as opposed to criticizing. Where's the justice everywhere else? Okay, so let's go back to Nancy. Has any evidence been compromised? Look at the bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups. This tells me in the home. Okay. Plethora of cards. 9 of Cups in Annie's home as well. 5 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles in reverse, 3 of Swords in reverse. Something about the time of something they did not handle well. Okay, the time of something they did not handle well. And the amount of people near the area, maybe even her home, that should not have been there, compromised this. Something else is coming through with that 3 of Swords in reverse. Is that a no for where she's at is not compromised at the moment? But there's been like error, loss, distraction that's caused mental alienation and disorder in the areas that have been compromised. So I get an absolute yes here. Absolutely nothing, you know, it's very clear that this is a yes. The 2 of Pentacles here is, yeah, it's definitely where people were there streaming, you know, simulated enjoyment here, but there's also something of a compromise in a literal sense around letters of exchange, and composition has been compromised. So could that be to the TMZ? Okay. I also feel like something I'm getting through is what they need to do is circle back to the beginning. Like they've missed some stuff, go back to the beginning. And I think they've been going back to the house, but there's something about that, like maybe taking a new perspective. I do think that Nancy's wrist or arm could have been injured, and that makes me wonder if she was tied up. Because I saw the Eight of Swords in my reading before, and I wanted to say I was getting she was tied up. But the reason I didn't say it is because when you think of an abduction, you think of being tied up. So sometimes like I said, there's a female involved. I didn't mention male because it was a kind of obvious there's going to be a male involved. But people, if you're new to the channel, you might think, well, why don't she say this? It's kind of even like with the cases. I won't just go with what everyone's saying in the grain. You know what I mean? Like, I won't just keep pointing out the obvious. But I guess I should explain that. Yeah, so workers at home, maybe church, the neighborhood. There is definitely an energy of, is this confirmed? That's that card. Yeah, in reverse. Yes, there's definitely an energy of someone owing money here. Okay. You know, like I said before. 10 of Wands in reverse, 10 of Cups, Lovers in reverse. Why was this done? Look at the cards. We got that 10 of Wands upright, didn't we? Can you remember when I said someone who knew someone here in reverse? There's no more work or heavy work to be done. 10 of Cups, the home, a happy home. Lovers in reverse, there was no choice of something. And I feel like this choice was like, I still want to know if Nancy recently changed a decision she made around certain things. And this could be to defend herself from something. Okay. Like if she moved, who would get that house? That, I don't know why that's coming through. That was just totally random. Okay. Like, okay, let's just ask a couple more questions and then make sure you like, subscribe if you like this reading. Few of these came in reverse, so I just want to make sure that most of them are upright. Okay, because they fell. Okay, yes, does any of these have a criminal record? I asked for this card. Yes, because that's what I was getting. Okay, so I asked in a maximum of 3. So someone has a criminal record. Okay, so we're going to go 3 layers here. How is S feeling? How is A feeling? And how is the brother feeling? I don't know what his name is. I'm not including the brother-in-law right now. Let's see if I do in a moment. Okay, how is... Actually, that's not right because I want 3 cards for each. To me, this is saying that S kind of knows who it is. She's got the money, the Lover's card, and the end result. So she expects her mum is not alive, okay? How is A feeling? It's going to be interesting. 4 of Swords, High Priestess. That Emperor came up for area of south. okay? He came up in upright. Let's speak to this. There's a seclusion or stepping back to not be in the spotlight. Taking a quiet approach, hiding some things. Some things is hidden here. It could be themselves. The Emperor in reverse is really telling me that it could be the partner, okay? I'm not saying that it's the partner who did it, but this card can represent the partner, or it could be someone she knows that's seen as an emperor. But here we've got him in reverse, and so this is kind of like confusion to enemies and an obstruction. An obstruction. Okay, the brother, the direct blood brother. How is he feeling, please, Spirit? Temperance in reverse. He's losing his patience. 5 of Cups in reverse. 4 of Cups in reverse. He's not really in his element, is he, right? He's got all these reversals. And he's got a lack of patience at the moment. 5 of Cups in reverse. He's waiting on news, okay? He's not sure whose his alliances are. And he feels like there's something false about this whole thing. 5 of Cups. With the 4 of Cups, he's very wary at this moment. But it's not like he's not secluding himself. It seems like he's trying to get new perspective, new people, so that he can reach somewhere, like new relations, new communication, to ties to actually reach this case somewhere, to get this case somewhere, to get it moving forward. Their pleas was a funny plea, honestly. I mean, they're just kind of weird. Okay, we're going to do a last one. The energy of the brother-in-law, the Hermit in reverse. We got that, didn't we, about the person in the dark, but this is in reverse. 10 of Cups, 5 of Wands in reverse. Okay. He's watching things online, okay? Hermit in reverse is someone who's definitely out of his element. I think there's a bit of immaturity here, because, you know, the Hermit is very wise. He feels quite exposed. He's out in the spotlight. He's not in the hidden darkness. 10 of Cups is... he's probably at home, okay? He's probably at home. The 7 of Wands, I feel like explains that 10 of Cups energy of a bit more. It's interesting because I'm getting, look at, you know, in terms of the Hermit, look at the number it represents. And the Hermit represents number 9. But it's the energy of concealment, disguise, fear as well. And sometimes this could be unreasoned caution. So taking caution that's not, you know, it's unreasoned. With the 7 of Wands here, after the 10 of Cups, we've got embarrassment, which I said earlier, a lot of anxiety in the home, and perplexed about the situation, perplexity, but embarrassments. So yeah, you can make up your mind here what you think. We've also looked at the perps. I hope this was enough. I think we might get some more footage coming out which might shock the perps. And I think this should be today. It depends when you see this. Today, and then going into Saturday. Let me know what the update on the case is. I hope you enjoyed this. You'll be able to fill me in. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but can you see how the cards repeated all the time, which tells you about the interperplexity of the different layers and timelines and how everyone knows. If you noticed how the cards really tied, there was a card nearly in everything that kind of tied things together, even if some things were in reverse and then upright. And if you go back to my readings, I've tried to make it as clear as I can without also some of the stuff I'm trying to say is very sensitive. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a like, and thank you for being a member. Thank you for being a loyal subscriber. I hope you're all blessed. I do want to say that on the 17th and 18th, we had some beautiful dates, very strong energy. You know, if you think about it, we had this solar eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse. We entered the fire horse. We got rid of the snake from the Chinese zodiac. We welcomed the Islam religion. Muslims welcomed the holy month of Ramadan on the 18th, and there was Lent for the Christianity, the Christians that celebrate Lent. So I felt that that energy going into 17 into 18 was very big for us, to be honest with you. Anyway, I wish you all a blessed morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you see this. Take care, stay blessed, and bye.